there's 320,000 lifts in the UK. So if we said half are ready to roll, then it could be as much as 70,000 hours worth of work to go and make all these systems ready. So a lot to do.
Hi, I'm Phil Laws. I'm from Cambridge Management Consulting and I'm an expert in telecommunications industry.
I'm John Jackson. I'm the Country Sales Manager for Northern Europe at AVIRE. And today we're talking about the wonderful subject of the PSTN switch off, the digital switch.
So John, given the PSTN switch off is January 2027, how prepared is the lift industry?
That's a good question. It varies in terms of the level of readiness, and if we look at the lift maintenance industry, who would look after a particular elevator at a building owner, our kind of indicative data suggests between 25 and 50% already converted. We've discussed this a wider scope in the industry as well, so we are confident that it's definitely south of 50% that are ready now, and we're less than a year to go, so a lot of work to do. And if we look at this in terms of actual convert that number of lifts, there's 320,000 lifts in the UK. So if we said half are ready to roll, then it could be as much as 70,000 hours worth of work to go and make all these systems ready. So a lot to do, and that's as well as doing all the day-to-day tasks that all these maintainers need to do to keep those elevator fleets running.
And given the various stakeholders in the lift industry, how are you guys approaching those separate stakeholders?
We are trying to create content and messaging that is relevant for all those different stakeholders, trying to engage where we can, encourage multiple stakeholders to get around the table, encourage building owners, facilities managers, managing agents, etc., to create projects of this. And there may be, for example, lift consultants involved, there may be specific OEMs, specific maintainers involved. So just really to build those project teams, start to engage with the relevant parties to get the best solution in terms of the right fit, the right the level of capital investment, and then the right level of future proofing that's needed to convert.
And what are the considerations for the various stakeholder communities in terms of moving away from the PSTN?
One of the big considerations is it's not about, obviously the industry is recommending a cellular mobile phone based solution. Some of the considerations obviously is there a good signal for this environment, and we have various means to support that process to make sure that we can get one. And then it's the equipment that lies behind it. For example, if you just took AVIRE, for example, AVIRE have been in the lift communications business for 35 years, and there are products like this one here, the known and trusted MEMCO, which is a PSTN lift phone programmed on with a keypad here. Very, very reliable. Had a very strong service life, been around for a decade or so. Very good, will still work in years to come. But there are limitations with it because it's analog technology. So its digital cousin is next door. For example, the audio quality, the speed of connection on this type of product is so much faster. And yeah, it really is like a super quick connection. And then there's, for example, heartbeats. There's visualization capability on the cloud platform that is there with this type of equipment. And then because it's a CAN-based system, other telemetry components can be put on the system to get all the data points out of that elevator, so you can really start to visualize exactly what's going on. So what was a black box traditionally that was there and either worked or didn't, now you can exactly see what's going on and really have a good view into the whole asset life cycle of what's on the lift.
So in terms of moving from a PSTN-based solution to one of your other offerings, how long would it typically take to migrate, and what's the process involved?
First, specifying the type of equipment. So one thing we do say with our equipment is it's open protocol. So we can work with any auto dialer manufacturer downstream, and it can this particular product can work with either digital auto dialers or analog. So to fit a typical unit would take normally around about 4 hours. There are some sites that are more challenging in terms of signal, and these are the standard aerials you can see on top, but we do have higher powered, for example, like omnidirectional antennas that give higher sort of signal penetration. We have focus antennas that can be pointed at the base station nearby that might need a signal strength survey, or it might need running a cable to the exterior roof of the building, so that might take a little bit longer, but typically 4 hours, and it can connect to the equipment that's already there, or new equipment like this digital family can be fitted. So if you are fitting a two-way communication system, typically less than a day, and then a four-way one would probably be just about a full day or slightly longer to fit a four-way communication system, which is the latest variant of EN8128, and has what's called a PIT phone, so PIT communication point and top of car communication point and motor room communication point, as well as the in-car one.
So John, can you tell me a bit about the AVIRE products you have for the cellular space and how they may help in terms of PSTN switch off?
Yeah, sure. AVIRE have been manufacturing cellular-based systems for more than a decade, so we have several 100,000 in service. Technology has evolved from 2G systems to now 4G, and then 4G, what's called 4G VoLTE, which is voice over LTE, which is in essence the 4G platform. The technology is really evolving now, so if you look at the latest generation of product here, this is called a DCP, so it's basically a digital communication platform as well as a GSM, and here you have like a PSTN connection and also a digital connection. So the PSTN connection can power any PSTN phone on the market, or obviously one of the AVIRE products as well. It's better if that's an open protocol unit. It's an open protocol with something called P100, which is the lift industry protocol for the alarms. Then those alarms can be better seen and visualized in the product. The latest developments here are more really about IP security. So really how this is a secure unit with downstream communications, how resilient is that? So these have like latest what's called the Radio Equipment Directive cybersecurity standards, and it's basically what's called an MQTT device, which has got the latest daily sort of encryption standards for cellular communication, and it's what's called always on. So in terms of any alarms, any dynamic events that are happening downstream, then they can be seen and visualized straight away. So it's super quick, and also it can put a kind of whole family of products downstream, so telemetry, different communication points like your top of car, your PIT for inter-elevator communication when it's being worked on, and it's especially good for being like visualized on the cloud platform, so you can see exactly what's downstream and you can see events happening in real time.
So I can see in the units here you have a battery backup unit in there.
Yeah.
What sort of lifetime do they provide?
The batteries typically last 3 years. The good thing is with this you can actually monitor that on our hub platform, so you can monitor the battery levels, and then you can see when that battery starts to not be able to charge, then that's a point where you can intervene, and these are fairly low cost, so it can be replaced on a routine maintenance visit, and it takes a few minutes to swap a battery out, but you can visualize that remotely, and also create a dynamic alarm that if it falls below a certain threshold, then it's time to replace that battery. And what we really want from this is to last at least 1 hour. That's the EN8128 standard. When these come out of the factory, they'll be between 2 and 3 hours, so you give plenty of overage in those batteries. The unit's also 24 volts DC, or also AC powered, and then industrial rated as well in terms of things like temperature and the environmental characteristics of the PCB. So they are designed to live in this, the environment which an elevator is in typically.
So this is a message for those stakeholders in the lift industry. PSTN switch off is January 2027. It's not going to go away, so please don't delay, take some action today.